Noted. He's just a ornery asshole. Andrew Jackson. Let's do this. All right. These are the key terms: corrupt bargain, spoil system, kitchen cabinet, petticoat politics, theory nullification, trail of tears, and pet banks. Let's do this. All right. The first time Jackson runs for election for the presidency is 1824. Okay. Nobody gets a majority of the Electoral College. Okay, so what happens in the 1824 election? Nobody gets a majority in the Electoral College, which means it goes to the House. Andrew Jackson's running against John Quincy Adams. Henry Clay also ran. Henry Clay from Kentucky helps convince people to vote for John Quincy Adams. Okay. Andrew Jackson's furious because he feels that some shady dealings went on, that he should be the president. Historians today would say that there really wasn't a corrupt bargain at all. Like, Jackson wasn't very popular with, career politicians, so he wasn't going to win anyway. So even though he's very much against John Quincy Adams and not a huge fan of Henry Clay, he wasn't robbed of an election in this instance. Okay. So what change occurred that let Jackson win in 1828? Well, you didn't have to be a landowning male, white male, in order to vote anymore. So that increases the voting eligible population. And those people that didn't own land, more often than not, they very much were huge Jackson fans because he was a war hero. Okay. So Jackson wins the presidency in 1828, mainly because they changed the way the Electoral College is set up and voting is set up, that you didn't have to be a landowning male, white male, in order to vote. How is Jackson unique to the presidency? He is the first outsider elected to the president. How is Jackson? He's the first outsider. Okay, he's the first populist, if you will, to get elected to the presidency. This huge giant block of cheese, like that, they had a huge giant block of cheese at his inaugural party. And actually what happened at the inaugural party was it's kind of like an open house, and people from Tennessee and that area come and pretty much just like tear the whole place apart. Like, they spike the punch, they're breaking windows. Jackson himself didn't drink. Jackson leaves the party because it's gotten so crazy. But it was a interesting time, to say the least. But block of cheese. I mean, why don't you have a block of cheese, large block of cheese at your parties? I always do. All right. Jacksonian Democrats, okay, are not a huge fan of the Marshall Court and the America system because they feel it is consolidating power into the elites. Jacksonian Democrats do not like the elites. So they feel that John Marshall is strengthening the power of the federal government, but at the same time, funneling that power into, just a few powerful entities, and that it is not a equal democracy. So Jackson is a huge fan of the spoil system, in that he's like, hey, listen, I'm the president. Okay, I get to put people in charge, and I'm going to choose people that are my friends. That's the spoil system. It's a patronage system. Patronage, Patronage, patronage. You're going to take individuals that are friends of yours or, friendly to your belief system, and you're going to put them in positions. Okay, so they might not necessarily be qualified for it. Okay, for whatever position you're going to point them to, but they have the same ideals as you do. So positives to that, you're getting new ideas, and that you're refreshing, you're getting new people involved. Negatives to that, just because they're your friend doesn't mean that they're going to do a good job. And more often than not, you're going to have some problems. All right. Jackson has his cabinet, which is his official advisors, and then he has a kitchen cabinet. It's like, his like group of friends that would advise him on stuff. Okay, once again, it's like he has the image of being very, listening, the common man president. All right, I don't always listen to my, stuffy advisors. I have, my, war buddies, and that I talk to. All right. Petticoat politics. All right, so he is his first wife dies, and so he marries again, and the woman Rachel Robards that he marries technically wasn't what you call it technically divorced when they got married. So, and the man fought in over like 100 duels, and most of those duels were defending the honor of his wife, Rachel Robards. So he is, very much, cognizant of people belittling, other women. So his Secretary of War, Henry Eden, ends up marrying this girl, Peggy O'Neill. Well, Peggy O'Neill was she like ran, I think she ran kind of like a restaurant / hotel, brothel, maybe, who the hell knows. So not like, she wasn't seen as one of the esteemed, individuals in Washington, D.C. Well, so his it's like high school. It's like girlfriends not getting along, and then it's just, all right, friend, like, so John C. Calhoun's wife, Fluoride Calhoun does not like Peggy O'Neill, and like makes it her life's mission just to like make her life a living hell. Would not invite her to like steak dinners and all this sort of stuff. Well, this pisses off Andrew Jackson because he just equates hit people's treatment of Rachel Robards. Oh, sorry, Rachel Robards died. That's what it is. And he feels that she died because of how poorly she was treated by the press and other people. So what ends up happening, the whole thing of petticoat politics is you have elite, the hoity-toity of Washington, D.C. not accept his Secretary of War's wife into their crew, and then that leads to that's one of the reasons why Washington hates John C. Calhoun, who is his vice president. So like a petty high school squabble, that you would have like over Instagram now, all right, ends up, really seriously hampering the effectiveness of the Jackson presidency. Petticoat politics, all right, because it's all about women wear petticoats, yada, yada, yada. All right, that's all I got.